Well, Dave, thank you for the introduction. Thank you for all the work that you've done and all that you've inspired us to do, not only nationally, but here in Minnesota. I am really excited to be here today. I'm proud of the movement that you're leading. This alliance is proof that we don't have to choose between a healthy economy and a healthy planet. We can provide good jobs and a green economy. We can pursue a path using America's manufacturing to secure America's energy independence. Now, I know you just heard from the panel. I was in the green room listening to some of the work that they've done at the state level, and I'm proud of the work Minnesota's done as well. Now, St. Paul District Energy predates the alliance here today, but it is something that was an anchor in providing jobs, energy, and a green coalition. District Energy is efficient in its energy distribution, and it grew out of a demonstration project that was invested by our downtown businesses, private sector, the state of Minnesota public at a state level, and the U.S. Department of Energy. So we know how to move forward in a collaborative effort when we put our minds to it. The work of our states and our private industries and private sector need to be supported, and they need to be reinforced at the national level. We need to do smart investments, and we also need to look at targeted tax credits. But it's going to be hard work to get that support, because right now in Congress we're fighting against the most anti-worker, anti-environment Congress in modern history. Let me just give you a little bit about what House leadership on the Republican side's been up to. They've eliminated our federal investments in clean energy to the best of their ability whenever they get a chance. They have blocked any and all efforts to address climate change. And just recently, they undermined the National Labor Relations Act. So House Republicans are committed to rewarding polluters and profiteers and punishing innovators in green technology and infrastructure. Just the opposite of what we heard states are doing all around this country in working together to address some of these issues. The national Republican agenda is taking us backwards. So I want to thank you, and thank those who are working in a bipartisan effort at state levels. I can't say enough. I want to thank you for fighting for our future. It is your determination, your innovations, and your agenda that we need to hear in Washington and all across America. You are leading the way for a much-needed wake-up call. You are showing what can be achieved by bringing the best in technology to solve America's energy problems and the crisis of climate change. You are showing us the power of partnering. Everyone in this room and this panel has stories that they can share of what happens when local, state, and federal government come together. It is powerful. You know the power of combining public, private, and nonprofit funds. This conference is spreading a strong message that combines energy and passion for the environment and for our working families. Now, personally, I'm happy to work with you anytime. And as I stated, many of my Republican colleagues nationally are focused on cutting now. So they are not thinking about federal investments and our ability to grow smart into the future. Even as we are dealing with reckless sequestration cuts, many national Republicans have doubled down with budgets that slash funding for education, energy, infrastructure, and research. Now, this is not what our families and our country need. We need to be focused on reinvesting the foundation of what has made this nation great. This is the time to make major investments in infrastructure and start a smart, modern power grid. If you want to diagnose our country, you could say America's workers built bones of this country. But at this point, we're in need of a hip replacement. So you need to, we've diagnosed the problem and you know how to correct it. So I want to thank you for your support of the Recovery Act. Through that, we created and invested billions of dollars and created millions of jobs. So we know we have the ability to rebuild our country and rebuild our economy. It's time to strengthen those investments. And that's what you're helping us do. You're helping us to look at where America can go next. And we need, as Americans, to lead the world in clean energy innovation. Making those smart investments here will put Americans back to work. It'll create good-paying jobs, and it will create union jobs. Looking around this room, I know you're poised and ready to make America the powerhouse it should be in the green economy. Now, it's our responsibility, my responsibility as a federal legislator, to create the environment that encourages that growth. If we want homegrown energy and homegrown jobs, then we need to plant the seeds. Now, as Dave pointed out, I'm from Minnesota, St. Paul. We're the Democratic Farmer Labor Party, so that we know back home that seeds need good soil, fresh air, sunlight. In other words, they need a healthy environment. And right now, we're facing, as I said earlier, in the House of Representatives, people who don't seem to get it. We have hundreds of attempts being made since they gained the majority to cut the EPA, to undermine the protections offered by the Clean Air and Water Acts. Now, I know that we can do a better job. I know that we don't want our cost of growth to come at a cost of our health. We are seeing daily what unregulated growth is doing to China. China's pollution in its major cities has created an environment that is literally toxic and lethal. The price of ignoring governmental impact and its opportunity to regulate is leading in China, and if we're not careful here, a reduced quality of life. That's the price that's paid by families and communities as they struggle with the fallout of pollution and climate change. And that's why I am so glad you're here. Your work is so important at the Blue-Green Alliance. You are uniting around jobs. You will provide the stability for America's working families. And you are coming together to speak for the health and the safety for those same families, because we cannot have healthy families without a healthy planet. We know that climate change is a reality, and we know we cannot afford to ignore its consequences. Taking climate change seriously requires us to find ways to reduce our emissions and to slow the buildup of greenhouse gases. But it also requires us to meet the reality of change as it's happening. We have to prepare, and we have to invest in a green infrastructure. Our nation's infrastructure is crumbling, and added the stress of climate change, it threatens our economy and our safety. But pressing needs to build our nation infrastructure is coming from you. So let me just tell you a couple of things that I know that we can work on and we're talking about in Congress, many of us. We're talking about more efficient water management systems. And on the Interior Committee, we've had a bipartisan discussion about that. We've talked about green spaces and urban renewal, investments in public transportation, constructing roads and bridges and power grids to withstand the extreme weather threats, as we just recently saw in New York. But there is one organization at the federal level who really gets this, and as Dave pointed out, I serve on the Defense Committee. A great model, believe it or not, we can look at is the United States Department of Defense. Yes, the DoD gets it. Who knew? They know that investments in green energy are going to make them more efficient and make all of us more secure. That's why they're aiming on goals like 100% renewable energy on some bases. They're doing it. They're walking the talk. This month, the Army will begin its largest renewable energy project in the United States military history at Fort Bliss in Texas. So as a member of the Appropriations Committee, not only on the Interior but DoD, I'm going to be fighting hard for green energy and infrastructure funds. If the DoD can show the way to do it, maybe those who are skeptics will wake up in Congress and follow their lead. But we need to do this across all of our federal agencies. So I want you to know my door is open to you. I'm here to work with you. We need to get more members of Congress on board, and that's why you're here to spread the message. So tell them about the private funds that are leveraged by these federal dollars. Let them know about the critical need to extend the wind protection tax credit long term, and show them how many jobs. You have had so many examples over today and yesterday. Show them how many jobs have been saved, how many more could be created by investing in a green economy. So come, be our teachers, be our leaders. You've been blazing the trail. Hold your head up high, share the stories, and tell us it's time to get to work. Thank you for leading the way. Thank you for being here. And I'm seeing all the Apple computers lit up. There are so many ways we can spread the word, but I can't tell you how important it is that you're going to congressional offices and meeting one-on-one with staff and members to share your stories. It will be shared, it will be impactful, it will be powerful, but then follow up in the district offices back home. Ask them out to see the projects that you know are right in those districts, the projects that make a difference for a stronger America, for a healthier America, and for a better environment. Thank you.